But there's no challenge to anything that was done. All this is not under challenge here.
No, Maharaj, once you are challenging the emergency, Maharaj, the declaration of 356 is challenged.
Can the center fall back upon the exercise of the 356 power? Say that, look, we have ratified it because we were exercising the power under 356.
Tough question. Introduce it.
Right. Yes. Other states, it's only the views have to be taken, but for J&K, the consent is required
before you
to introduce the bill.
Yes. He is not in session. There is no assembly. It has been dissolved. So where do you get the consent of the assembly? So the governor becomes the assembly. Then the assembly becomes parliament, and then parliament gives consent. He has already suspended the Council of Ministers. He dissolves it.
Without the aid and advice.
Nothing. Why do you think I've been saying continuously that this is a pure political act? The governor and the government were acting in tandem. They wanted to get rid of 370. Toss it out. Why would any governor do that? Why would the governor on 20th of June, after withdrawal of support on 19th of June, suspend the assembly? Don't allow any political affiliation and parties to take place so that a new government can be formed.
Which is the power of dissolution under the constitution, just for the cross?
Yes, 53. Section 53 of the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir gives that power of dissolution, not part of the exception given to the governor with reference to his powers that he can exercise without the aid of the Council of Ministers. Under what power? So much of the first proviso to Article 3 of the Constitution, as relates to the reference by the President to the legislature of the state, and the second proviso to that article, so much of Clause 2 of Article 151 of the Constitution, as relates to laying before the legislature of the state of the report submitted by the governor, by the Controller and Auditor General. Now, what they did was they took away the proviso to Article 3. Under what power? You can't amend the Constitution in virtue of your power under 356. Now, let's see what the proviso to Article 3 of the Constitution says. Kindly have a look. Kindly give it. Document, volume.
So they delete effectively the proviso to Article 3. But Mr. Sibal, at the end of it all, I mean, of course, this has the optics about the way it was done, but there's no challenge to anything that was done. All this is not under challenge here.
No, once you are challenging the emergency, the declaration of 356 is challenged. Just look at it.
What is the frame of the petitions? Do we have a challenge?
Yes, we have one challenge. But quite apart from that, you're looking at it's yes. 370. It's not.
All right, we just see what the frame of the challenge. If you can just ask one of the juniors to make that little tabulation for us.
But apart from that, this is now before you.
Yes.
In all its various nuances, in a sense.
Yes, of course.
Now the question is, what is the power? And that's the other thing. What is the power under 356? The quintessential object of 356 is to restore democracy. You take over because a government cannot be run in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution for a temporary period for the restoration of democracy. You don't use 356 for its decimation. You can't amend the provisions of the Constitution under 356.
The legislature, the power has been exercised under 356, and the president assumes the powers of the legislature, the executive. Can a ratification be done under 356 in relation to that particular state legislature?
No, Malas. No, because he's exercising powers as a state legislature, Malas, in this sense. There is no question of ratification.
Not in the J&K case. I'm just theoretically, I'm saying, can a
generally what is my lord is putting to
you know some constitutional amendments under the proviso
Yes.
require a ratification.
That's right, that's right.
Now, for the purpose of computing the majority, computing the strength required for ratification,
Yeah.
can the center fall back upon the exercise of the 356 power? Say that, look, we have ratified it because we were exercising the power under 356.
Tough question.
Has never
What Lord is
happened, but
putting to me is that if Jammu and Kashmir, in a 368 situation, if Jammu and Kashmir were to ratify it, then Parliament can exercise that power.
suppose any Indian state,
No, Malad.
you require a certain number of states.
Provided, Malad, the 356 is imposed there, not otherwise.
But if 356
Yeah.
is imposed, then can that power to
That's-
ratify
that's
the
a tough
amendment be
question.
exercised?
That's a tough question.
Even that is a little.
Yeah, it's a tough, I can't answer it.
yeah,
right
even
away.
I-
I'll have to think
just-
more about it. Because the ratification is of the state, therefore there are two separate constitutional authorities. One Parliament passing the law and
And then the
another
state.
authority ratifying it. You can't take the position, that's like, it takes two hands to clap. It's the same analogy. Therefore, you can't exercise that power yourself because that's power constitutionally is provided for in another institution, in another constitutional body.
Now here the proclamation comes under 356.
That's right.
After that, what is done then?
Then, Malad, they amend section, Article 3.
We saw that.
Yes, but, and I'm going to take your lordship to the Constitutional Assembly debates on this. Just presently, I'll do that.
And for J&K, consent is required.
Yes.
Not just
No,
the views, but
Yeah.
the consent.
Consent.
Other states,
No, Malad, you require the consent before you introduce it.
right.
Yes.
Other states, it's only the views have to be taken,
That's
but for J&K, the consent is required
Before you
to introduce the bill.
Yes.
They suspended the operation of
They
it.
suspended the operation. Now, how do you get that power under 356? That's not the object of the proclamation.
Deleted, suspended. Then they exercise.
That assembly can't exercise that power, Manoj, to suspend.
On behalf of the assembly.
Yes, they can't do that also. A bill cannot be introduced without the consent. Assembly is not in session. There is no assembly, it has been dissolved. So where do you get the consent of the assembly? So the governor becomes the assembly, then the assembly becomes parliament, and then parliament gives consent. On behalf of an assembly that doesn't exist.
Mr. Sibal, what was the procedure followed when different orders were issued under those constitution, right? Like those about 18 orders,
Yeah.
constitution orders,
Yeah.
1952 up
Yes,
to.
all mandates with concurrence. With respect.
What was the procedure followed?
Procedure
Was it through parliament process or through by the president only?
No, it's not through a parliament process, it's through a presidential notification after taking the consent, concurrence or consultation. That's right. So that's how it's made applicable, through a presidential order. No. So it's 356 and exercising powers under 356. It's a